Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Essayli. We have some video up here, some images that you're probably familiar with over the summer on some of the violent riots that broke out in response to our immigration enforcement operations. During the summer, we were very clear that anyone who engages in criminal conduct, who assaults our agents or damages government property, we're going to find you and we're going to arrest you and we're going to charge you. And the Attorney General and the President made that directive very clear as well. So we're following through on that today. We've arrested 10 individuals this morning who were involved in such activities. We're going to talk about those here today, right now. We're announcing the arrest of at least 10 people, more to come, charged with engaging in violence directed at law enforcement officers and who engaged in civil disorder in response to recent immigration enforcement actions in Los Angeles. To date, we have charged 97 individuals either with assault or impeding of federal agents engaged in immigration enforcement operations, and we will continue to charge more as we obtain the evidence. Earlier this summer, federal agents engaged in law enforcement operations targeted at removing illegal immigrants who entered the United States unlawfully. In response, large protests began to form throughout the Los Angeles area. I want to be very clear. Every American has a right to peacefully protest. What is not constitutionally protected is a right to engage in violence or to impede federal agents by assaulting, doxing, or obstructing their operations. On July 10th, law enforcement officers were executing a court-ordered search warrant at locations in Ventura County. Protesters, including members of an organization named VC Defensa, came to the site of the search warrants. VC Defensa is an organization that operates and manages what they call a rapid response network designed to impede federal agents and their enforcement operations. And that warrant is what you see on the camera there at the marijuana farm where the agents were attempting to leave. In one of the criminal complaints today, we are charging 2 members of VC Defensa for conspiring to impede and injure federal law enforcement officers. These 2 VC Defensa members went to the protests on July 10th in Ventura County and acted with others to assault enforcement vehicles and officers. One of the members charged in the complaint used her vehicle to block U.S. government vehicles from leaving the location, while another member and others ambushed the vehicles by throwing rocks at them. And those images went viral. Several government vehicles were damaged and a federal contract employee was injured as a rock went through her vehicle window, shattering the glass and striking her. And you're going to hear more about that case here shortly. Separately, in another incident that you also see on the TV here, on June 8th in downtown Los Angeles Civic Center, a group of agitators used the protest as an excuse to throw rocks, bottles, and other objects at officers, injuring several of them. Government and private property were vandalized. Los Angeles police declared an unlawful assembly, yet the violence continued. 9 of the defendants charged in that second criminal complaint were filmed on cell phones by local news and other media, throwing rocks, bottles, and objects, including objects on fire from an overpass on Main and Los Angeles Street here in downtown LA onto the CHP officers and their vehicles. 2 defendants charged in today's complaint were recorded lighting debris on fire and throwing it at CHP vehicles, pouring what appeared to be flammable liquid, which increased the size of the flames. The officers and vehicles were on the freeway after removing demonstrators who had marched onto the freeway to block traffic lanes. During the mayhem, one CHP vehicle was set ablaze. Officers were trapped while an angry mob threw debris at them from above. 9 individuals in that mob are charged with obstructing, impeding, and interfering with law enforcement during a civil disorder. That is a felony, a federal felony that carries a statutory maximum sentence of 5 years in federal prison. Lastly, federal agents today also arrested Giovanni Canil, a Boyle Heights resident who pepper sprayed a vehicle while the FBI SWAT officers were inside of it. Those officers were at a scene of a search warrant execution at Ambiance Apparel, a business in downtown LA on June 6th. Canil is charged with pepper spraying them as they left the scene, causing injuries to at least 2 officers. Again, these are criminal complaints and allegations. Everyone is entitled to a presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. As we have said many times, violence in any form, specifically targeted at law enforcement, is unacceptable and illegal. You will be arrested, you will be charged, and you will face serious prison time. For those people who disagree with federal immigration laws, you need to take it up with Congress. Congress passed those laws, and we are obligated to enforce them. We will not tolerate violence against officers who are simply doing their job. Yeah, and this, I want to be clear, this is not a game. I think some people out there think this is some sort of a game or political stunt, and you have elected officials who are encouraging this behavior. The consequences here are extremely serious. Just last week, we had an individual who rammed his vehicle at our agents, and he was shot by law enforcement. So not only was he shot, he was also charged with assault, and now he's looking up to 20 years in federal prison. So again, this isn't a game. Not only are these actions dangerous, they're also ineffective. We have not and we will not stop our immigration enforcement operations. Nothing will stop us. Nothing. So with that, I want to turn it over to Eddy Wang, the Special Agent in charge of Homeland Security Investigations here in Los Angeles.
Good morning. My name is Eddy Wang, and I'm the Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security Investigations here in Los Angeles. Before I begin, I'd like to send my and my office's deepest condolences to the family of Deputy Andrew Nunez and to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice, and may you rest in peace, Deputy Nunez. Earlier today, Homeland Security Los Angeles Special Agents assigned to the Homeland Security Task Force, along with the FBI, IRS, Criminal Investigations, and ERO, executed a search warrant in Oxnard, California, and attempted to arrest 2 individuals charged with conspiracy to impede or injure a federal officer. Those 2 suspects are active members of a Ventura County-based rapid response network, VC Defensa. One of the suspects, Essayli Coreas, was arrested at the scene as he attempted to flee from law enforcement. The other suspect, Virginia Reyes, fled prior to the execution of the search warrant, and her whereabouts are currently unknown. There is an active federal criminal arrest warrant issued for Virginia Reyes, and she is to be considered a fugitive. Today's enforcement action stems from the violent criminal activity surrounding the July 10th, 2025 execution of a judicially authorized federal search warrant at a marijuana cultivation farm in Camarillo, California, as well as other related incidents. Upon entering duty, every single federal law enforcement officer swears to an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And while the First Amendment protects the freedom of speech and the freedom to peacefully assemble, it does not provide for a right to assault federal officers, impede or obstruct federal officers, or conspire to do so or destroy government property. The actions taken by these suspects and others on July 10th and other related incidents were neither speech nor peaceful. So let me be clear, we will vigorously protect the rights to free speech and the right to peacefully and freely assemble. But we will also, without fear or favor, deliver consequences and bring accountability to those that would assault, impede, or obstruct federal law enforcement officers or destroy government property. I would like to thank the HSI Los Angeles Special Agents, criminal analysts and task force officers, as well as our federal partners and the assistant U.S. attorneys who dedicated countless hours to bringing this investigation to light. Please note that this investigation is active and ongoing, with at least 9 suspects outstanding, including the pictured Virginia Reyes. As we expect to make more arrests associated with this investigation, as well as the scores of other criminal incidents surrounding immigration enforcement activities. To do so, we need the public's assistance. If anyone has information regarding the identities and locations of the outstanding suspects, some of whose photographs are included in the affidavit, as well as fugitive Virginia Reyes, please contact the HSI tip line at 1-866-374-2423, 347-2423, excuse me. To the suspects, if you are watching, I must remind you that while the arm of the law is long, our memories are longer. So please turn yourselves in immediately to law enforcement, because we will be relentless in our pursuit. And to those who are or may be aiding, abetting, concealing, or harboring fugitive Virginia Reyes, who has an active federal criminal arrest warrant issued for her, you can and will be charged with violating Title 18 United States Code Section 1071. Thank you, and now I'd like to introduce Assistant Director in Charge for the FBI Field Office, Akil Davis.
Good morning. My name is Akil Davis. I'm the Assistant Director in Charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Field Office. As previously stated, multiple individuals were arrested this morning for their role in engaging in targeted violence towards law enforcement and the destruction of government property during June of this year. Last summer, many individuals exercised their peaceful protest and constitutional rights. The FBI is charged with upholding those rights and safeguarding those rights. However, we're not here to discuss peaceful protests. The subjects we're talking about today engaged in violent attacks. The FBI is working very closely with California Highway Patrol, whose officers were trapped under a bridge when violent protesters threw rocks, concrete, electric scooters, and fireworks at officers, and even ignited a patrol vehicle. Additionally, we're working with the ATF to seek individuals responsible for igniting a Waymo taxi during that same time frame. The FBI will continue to dedicate resources to investigate and seek prosecution for violence targeted at law enforcement and the destruction of government property. I urge anyone with information to come forward. In addition to those charged today, as you see here to my right, we are displaying photos of other unidentified suspects in this investigation. In another case that was previously mentioned in Camarillo, on July 10th, the FBI is offering a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to the identification of the subject to my left. This individual appeared to point a firearm and possibly fired the gun at federal law enforcement officers. Again, potentially a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to his identification and arrest. The FBI is also offering a reward for additional subjects yet to be identified, up to $10,000 for each individual identified and arrested. You can call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit tips to tips.fbi.gov. Thank you for your time today. I will now turn it over to Bill Essayli.
Okay, real quick, before we go into questions, I do want to give some updated numbers on cases that my office has charged since June of this year. We have charged 97 individuals with a federal offense since June 6th of 2027, related either to assaulting or impeding federal agents engaged in immigration enforcement operations. We have obtained 39 indictments returned by a grand jury for felonies against those individuals. 18 have pleaded guilty. 16 are in what we call post-complaint and pre-indictment stage, and 44 are set for trial between now and spring of 2026. So those are the updated numbers. I should explain to those who aren't familiar with our criminal justice system, not everyone charged ends up getting indicted. Some of them proceed by way of information if we elect to charge a misdemeanor, or if they waive their right to indictment as part of a plea agreement, they will not be indicted. So not everyone charged gets indicted. 39 people have been indicted, 18 have pled guilty, and 16 are making their way through the indictment process. With that, I'll open it up to questions. I also want to introduce Kenneth Cooper. He's the special agent in charge of the ATF here in Los Angeles. And ATF has been involved in these investigations as well, particularly the investigations involving arson of the CHP vehicles, arson of the Waymo vehicles, and of course, ATF was instrumental in the Palisades fire investigation. So we are available. We'll take some questions.
Carter Evans from CBS News.
Yes, hey, Carter.
How many more individuals are you tracking and trying to track down right now?
Related to today's criminal complaints?
Well, not related to today's just criminal complaints, but just that may have committed some crimes during these protests.
Yeah, I would say between HSI and FBI, it could be hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, we've collected, tons of evidence throughout the summer. I know people felt at the time they were engaging in this with impunity and nothing serious would happen to them. We have all the records. We have all the videos. We have all the social media posts. We are doing our thorough investigation, the FBI, HSI, ATF. These guys are pros. They're very good at what they do. We will find people and we will charge them. And so, yeah, potentially hundreds. Today's just the first batch of charges that we're bringing.
Can you talk a little bit about the timeline of the investigation? Some people in the CHP case, I remember you announced charges back in June. I had a player on thinking of the arson case, right?
Yes.
Like a cruiser. It's obviously same general area, same conduct. Just was it like difficult to identify people? Was a lot of evidence to go through? Can you just walk us through a little bit of like, I'm not saying this in a pejorative way, but just like why it took like 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about the steps to identify without giving away all our secrets?
Yeah, without showing all the cards of an ongoing active investigation, as you can see in some of these photos, there's a lot of people down there. And as I mentioned in my comments, the FBI is charged with safeguarding and upholding First Amendment protected speech in peaceful protests. There are some peaceful protesters in some of these videos. And so our job is to navigate through that to figure out who's actually committing targeted violence and who's there exercising their First Amendment protected rights. And so with that comes time, because we're being very meticulous with that part of the investigation. So that's kind of what's led to the 90 days or up to 120 days post charges.
Assistant Director, Jeff Newman with CBS LA. Can you give us more information about the guy that's on the board to your left? Name, where does he reside, and things of that sort. What you need in terms of a tip for this guy?
Well, sir, if I had his name and where he resides, we'd probably be at his front door today.
Well, if
we don't know a lot.
If he's on the run, right?
We don't know a lot about him. He's an active fugitive. There are some things we're doing behind the scenes that we're not going to reveal here today to locate and identify this person. But we're also seeking the public's help, which is why the reward is so significant. We believe that this person intentionally fired a weapon at federal agents on the day of this enforcement action. So that is going to be at the top of our priority list to try to find
I
him.
think this was on video, right? Is that the case? Yeah, it's been out there?
Correct.
Okay.
When it comes to these suspects and the people who are arrested, I know you're looking for hundreds more. Have you been able to decipher if these are individuals who are just committing bad acts, or are they part of a network trying to deliberately disrupt, these protests?
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
So I don't want to be cute with you there. Some are part of a group, 2 or 3 or 4 person group, and some were individuals that all showed up in one particular day to take advantage of an opportunity to commit violence. So we're looking at everything regarding that.
Let me say a little more. So one of the groups we've identified today is this VC Defensa group. They call themselves this Rapid Response Network, which there's a lot of groups who are doing this. And let's be clear, their job is to obstruct and impede immigration agents. So as soon as they see agents conducting a law enforcement operation, they activate people to show up, to harass the agents, to get in their way, to film them, try to identify them. That's their purpose. So yeah, we are investigating these groups. This is one of them, VC Defensa. And when they take actions that cross the line into impeding, where they're trying to stop the agents or impede their ability to do their job, that becomes a federal crime and they are subject to arrest like the two members of the group that we are charging today. Yes, sir.
Mr. Essayli, Carlos Grana from ABC7. Could you comment about your status as acting U.S.
Yeah.
Attorney and the issues that have been going on?
Well, I'm still here, not planning to go anywhere. We're still reviewing that order. It was a lengthy order issued yesterday. I'll just say we're less concerned with titles, and we're more concerned with the authority of my position to be able to run this office as the chief federal law enforcement officer of this district. And so I think the judge has made clear, regardless of my title, I have the authority to run this office, to serve at the direction and delegation of the Attorney General and the President, and there's no question on that authority. So we're navigating the order. We'll figure out my title, but for now, nothing effectively changes.
Bill, Alex
Yes.
Rozier with NBC LA. So what do you think the judge's intent behind that ruling was? It was very carefully worded,
Yeah.
lengthy ruling. Do you believe it was his intent to say you can continue serving in your role just under a different title?
Oh, it's not his intent, it's what he said. So if you read the order, he does make it very clear that I have several hats here because I'm designated as a special counsel by the Attorney General. I'm assigned to the First Assistant U.S. Attorney post, and by default, under the Vacancies Act, we believe that that makes me, by default, the acting U.S. Attorney. It's a very complicated statutory scheme that Congress set up. It's very convoluted. The judge waded through it. He says whether or not I qualify as the acting, there's no question that I'm the first assistant, which makes me the top federal prosecutor in this office. So again, all this is semantics, titles. What matters at the end of the day is that the president won the election. The president gets to control and run the executive branch, and through the Attorney General, they get to appoint and designate the people they want to serve at their pleasure, and that's what's important.
Okay, last question?
Yes.
You mentioned the updated statistics.
Yes.
Obviously, more than a third of them, as you said, got indictments. You've also gotten, I think, about 10 plea deals at least out of those, so not cutting that away from you. You've also
18.
had 18. Good, right. Good point. You've also had about 20% of those cases dismissed. Both of the cases that went to trial were lost. Is there something you can talk about? Just if there's an updated strategy, this took longer to investigate.
I don't think it's 20%.
On the assault case.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no, I don't think it's 20%. It's far lower than that.
No, it's not. It's 14 and 64. That went off his list.
We've charged 97.
I'm talking about assault cases specifically.
Okay. Well, assault, impeding, it doesn't matter. What I will tell you is I'm not going to talk about any specific case, but there are many reasons that a case may not proceed to trial, one of which is we want to get more evidence. So I'll just leave it at that.
Meaning you, like, we're waiting to see an indictment to collect more evidence.
Meaning when we charge a complaint, we're on the clock. And so if the agents need more time to collect evidence, sometimes we will dismiss a case without prejudice, which allows us to bring it back at our choosing. Other times, to be frank with you, and this is, we're not shy about doing this, if we charge a case quickly and we learn more information that changes our confidence in the person's guilt, we will not hesitate to dismiss that case. So there's a combination of reasons why a case may not proceed after we charge. So I'm not going to comment on any specific case, but I would not read too much into anything. I will tell you though, the cases we bring today are not reactionary. These cases have, they've spent a lot of time and resources working them up. We're very confident. It's very different from a reactionary case where things are chaotic. We have protesters, we have officers getting assaulted, and they have to quickly put handcuffs on someone. Sometimes we don't have all the information that we would like to proceed with the case, so it's very complicated. Okay, one last
Thank
question.
you. If I may, Judge Seabright said that you have served unlawfully in your role for months. Would you like to respond to what?
Well, he says I've served unlawfully as the acting, but he says I've served lawfully as the first assistant. It's a distinction without a difference. And he says so in his order. It doesn't make a difference. Whether I'm the acting or the first assistant, I'm the top federal prosecutor, and I'll be supervising and managing this office.
But he removed you from prosecuting 3 cases, though.
No,
right?
he didn't. He says I can continue supervising them as the first assistant. It's a long and complicated order. I encourage the media to digest it, but I assure you it doesn't change anything and it doesn't jeopardize any of our cases. And I will continue to serve, again, at the pleasure of the Attorney General and the President of the United States, who, again, won the election. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.